Back at it again, baby, and we got another one with Ben Shapiro. Let's dive in.
So meanwhile, this administration, which is desperately attempting to misdirect to other issues for the elections. They tried abortion last week, had no impact on the polls. So now they're trying all Republicans are racists who favor mass shootings. The real reason they're doing this, of course, is because on the economy, which is the major issue that is going to drive voters, on the economy, they are just a disaster area. In fact, it's so bad at this point that even Jeff Bezos, who is basically a Democratic lackey at this point, the owner of Amazon, he slammed the Biden administration on their economic policy. So the White House has now come after Jeff Bezos. And here's what they said, quote, "It doesn't require a huge leap to figure out why one of the wealthiest individuals on earth opposes an economic agenda for the middle class that cuts some of the biggest costs families face, fights inflation for the long haul, and adds to the historic deficit reduction the president is achieving by asking the richest taxpayers and corporations to pay their fair share." It's also unsurprising that Jeff Bezos, who tweeted about...
We talked about this in a video, I want to say yesterday. Maybe the day before yesterday. I don't know. I get my days mixed up now at this point. But there's always that talking point of fair share. Somebody has to call people out on this. What is a fair share? What does that even mean? You know, it sounds good to people. Oh, yeah, they need to pay their fair share. But what does that mean? It's just a word. There's no definition. Like, can I get a definition? What does fair share mean? Because last time I checked, the 1% of top earners pay, I think it was over 40% of all taxes. 1% pay over 40% of all taxes. Like, I think that's more than fair. Like, what do you want them to do? Pay 60%? 70%? Yeah, good luck with that. Every single billionaire will leave this country immediately. I'm out of here. Taking 50, 60, 70% of my money? You know, like, I don't know. Y'all talk to me in the comment section. I have no clue what that even means. Does anybody have a definition? I don't think we have one yet, but if you do, let me know.
Taxpayers and corporations to pay their fair share. It's also unsurprising that Jeff Bezos, who tweeted about inflation, comes after the president met with labor organizers. And Bezos fired back, "Look, a squirrel. This is the White House's statement about my recent tweets. They understandably want to muddy the topic. They know inflation hurts the neediest the most. But unions aren't causing inflation. Neither are wealthy people. Remember, the administration tried their best to add another $3.5 trillion to federal spending. They failed. Had they succeeded, inflation would be even higher than it is today. And inflation today is at a 40-year high. So Jeff Bezos, I mean, this is how bad their economic record is. Jeff Bezos, who definitely supported Joe Biden for the presidency in 2020, is now ripping on their economic record. Hilariously, the Democrats are trying to claim, I kid you not, that inflation is being caused by corporate greed, and what we need to do to bring down inflation is to raise taxes. Right, that'll definitely bring down inflation. If you want to bring down inflation, so the definition of inflation is too much money chasing too few goods. The best way to stop that is obviously to lower the number of goods that you're creating. If you create fewer goods and the amount of money is the same, probably the prices get cheap. It doesn't make so much sense. The good news is that we do have a self-stated, very important black, gay, immigrant woman to explain this, right? This is her job quality. This is what...
That's another thing, too. Because in the video that we checked out yesterday, she said, you know, I'm black, I'm gay, and blah, 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 and I'm the first of all three, or whatever, immigrant, I'm the first of all three to be in it. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Like, the whole I'm black thing, that ship sailed with Obama. I'm sorry, but I don't care about you being black. Granted, it was a thing with Obama. But after that, that ship sailed. You're late, darling. Nobody cares anymore. What can you actually do? What qualities do you actually have? What qualifications do you have? What do you provide to me? I don't care about you being black provides nothing to me. And I'm black myself, you know. You provide me nothing. Get tired of people, oh yeah, I'm black, or I'm LGBTQ, or I'm this, or I'm that, I'm diverse. Nobody cares. What can you provide? What can you do for me? What are your qualifications? Sheesh.
makes her unique.
Do y'all agree? Let me know in the comment section.
According to her. According to me, I think she's a normal human being, just like every other normal human being, and should be respected as one of God's creatures. But according to the new White House press secretary, what makes her a unique and valuable human being is all of her intersectional characteristics. It obviously is not that she's good at her job. Here's her answer on whether taxation was going to somehow lower inflation.
How does raising taxes on corporations lower the cost of gas, the cost of a used car, the cost of food for everyday Americans?
So look, I think we encourage those who have done very well, right, especially those who care about climate change, to support a fair tax code that doesn't charge manufacturers, workers, cops, builders a higher percentage of their earnings, that the most fortunate people in our nation, and not let that stand in the way of reducing energy costs and fighting this existential problem, if you think about that as an example.
I won't rail on her too hard, you know, but sheesh Louise, did that look bad. I will give her a little bit of grace. It was her first day on the job, all right, but she was clearly reading off of a prompter up there, or some paper or something, and it was totally obvious. Oh man, sheesh, she'd be better off just holding the paper up so she could actually look at the crowd. You know, we know what you're doing. Golly, that was horrible. Look at Ben's face too.
So apparently she just took out a bunch of words there and took out one of our sponsored Kamikoto knives and proceeded to just chop it up for a word salad, because that makes no sense. Remember, the question was, how does raising taxes on corporations fight inflation? And her answer was climate change, sambadambadoo-badee-badabadoo. That was her actual answer right there. Because this administration has no answers, which is why they want to talk about white supremacy and abortion. Right? Because if they had answers on the economy, they wouldn't have to talk about white supremacy and abortion. And this has become the actual talking point of the Democratic administration right now, is that inflation is going to be fought by raising taxes on the producers. Why didn't anybody think of this in the past? The best way to fight economic failure is to tax all the producers. Maybe if you go all the way, you can nationalize all the producers, and then you really don't have to worry about the economy at all. You don't have to worry.
That tax is just going to be passed on to us as consumers, and prices are going to go up even higher.
About economic growth or inflation if the government could control not only the monetary supply but all the means of production, probably that would solve the problem. Anyway, Pete Buttigieg, our genius, the monetary supply but all the means of production, probably that would solve the problem. Anyway, Pete Buttigieg, our genius Secretary of Transportation, who again is Secretary of Transportation because number one, couldn't fill potholes in South Bend, Indiana, and two, is gay. So Pete Buttigieg, he has an answer for how to bring down inflation from the U.S. Department of Transportation, fresh back from his 9-month, 11-month, 16-month paternity leave. Here's Pete Buttigieg explaining that corporate taxes will save the day.
We have a very clear contrast right now, right? You have Senate Republican proposals that are about raising taxes on the poor and the middle class. And you have the president's worldview, which is shared by the majority of Americans, that if anybody needs to be carrying more of the load right now, it is the wealthiest and corporations that have become extremely profitable. By the way, corporations also that have often, hold on, this is really important. Well, corporations that have invoked inflation as an excuse to keep prices high in ways that are not just reflected by the supply picture and are pocketing the difference.
Oh, so corporations just got greedy, and now they are keeping the prices high because they have plenty of supply and there's no competition in the market. That makes perfect sense. So little sense that Andrew Ross Sorkin, who is a member of the economic left, is saying to Pete Buttigieg, I don't even know what you're talking about, dude. What are you even talking about? That didn't stop Buttigieg from going after Jeff Bezos.
Bezos tweeted, in fact, the administration tried hard to inject even more stimulus into an already overheated inflationary economy, and only mansions saved them from themselves. Inflation is a regressive tax that most hurts the least affluent. Misdirection doesn't help the country. What do you think of that analysis?
Look, the president's theory of the case when it comes to economics is probably never going to be wildly popular with billionaires for the simple reason that he is calling on them to pay their fair share.
Oh, there's the buzzword. Buzzwords. Fair share. Once again. And you find that a lot with these situations. There's these buzzwords, you know, fair share, that really don't even have a definition. They're just super vague, and it's never truly explained. I would love for somebody to call these individuals out. What does that even mean? Like I stated earlier, like what percent of a wealthy individual's income would you consider fair to pay in taxes? What percent would that be? Sheesh.
Oh, they're so tiresome. So basically, they go right back to the drawing board with, if the economy is bad, it's because people who are rich aren't paying their fair share. That doesn't explain inflation. It doesn't explain anything. All of the activity that this administration has pursued has made things worse. And this is why, again, watch this hand. This is the white supremacy abortion hand, according to the left. You got to watch over here. You have to watch over here. I mean, the economy sucks over here. It's terrible. But over here, pay attention. Tucker Carlson. Ooh, look at that. We got to kill the babies. Over here, check out. The misdirection is truly incredible. By the way, the Xavier Becerra, the Secretary of Health and Human Services, he acknowledged yesterday that the FDA knew baby formula shortages could happen and they didn't do anything about it. You're doing great, guys. You're doing just great.
Wow.
At all times, FDA recognizes what might happen when it moves in to tell a plant, a manufacturer, that they may have to take pretty dramatic action, no doubt. But at the same time, Kate, we have reports that there are some children who have been infected by the Chronobacter disease. We know that a couple of children.
These idiots. So they said. So he's saying the FDA knew that we could have a baby formula shortage, and they didn't relieve any of the regulations on bringing in foreign baby formula from places like Germany to fill in the gap. You guys are doing amazing. You're doing amazing. Probably you should talk more about great replacement theory and about why babies need to be killed up to the point where they exit the mother's womb and maybe beyond. That's what you should talk about. You'll definitely win elections this way, guys. Slow clap for the geniuses at the White House and their drooling lackeys in the media. I know.
Sheesh, Louise. My heart goes out to anybody that, has a baby that, needs formula right now, because I can only imagine, I'm blessed and fortunate enough to not have to use formula. I could only imagine the panic and the amount of being afraid to run out of formula to feed your baby. I mean, it's crazy. And these people should be put in prison. I mean, that's ridiculous. You knew. And granted, I will give them credit for shutting down the facility to make sure all babies were safe. We don't want to harm any babies. But if you know that it's happening, why are you not doing anything about it? Like you said, bringing in some more formula for somewhere else. Now, granted, you may have to test it. You can randomly test batches. That's totally fine. I'm sure companies do that already. Companies do that already with other types of products. They randomly test batches to make sure, okay, well, this batch is safe. A few random, things were pulled off the assembly and tested to make sure it's purity. All right, cool. You bring some in from wherever, that's producing it around the world and has it in abundance. You test some random batches, like I said. You make sure it's safe and you put it out on the market. Like, why wasn't that done already? Baby, listen, I'm angry. My daughter doesn't even need formula, but I'm angry. I don't know. This world is going to the crapper. I don't know what's happening right now. Babies can't even have something to eat. Where have we gone? Y'all let me know what you thought about this one in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, and of course, hit the subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.